Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here or you just found me through a YouTube search, my name's Travis. I am located in the Houston, NASA area, and what I do is I go to storage lockers, estate sales, garage sales, antique malls, basically anywhere where I can source items for fairly cheap and then resell them online or locally through Facebook Marketplace. This video is strictly about cast iron. Vintage cast iron, bolos, be on the lookout for, and I'm going to share with you so you have that knowledge going forward, and maybe you'll find these items during your search or wherever you source or however you source. So that's kind of the main goal that I have in my videos is you will get educated, you will potentially find some of these items while you're out, and I like to think that knowledge is key. So if you're new here, please hit the like button. It really helps the logarithm with YouTube, so other viewers will find this information helpful as well. And if you found it helpful and you want to learn for future information on what I find and what you might make some money on, hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any videos going forward. You can hit the bell, etc. So let me cut to the chase and I'll start showing you some of the items that you should pay attention to, as well as the name brands and maybe tricks to finding these items. All right, so here I got everything kind of spread out as far as these finds that I've had recently. And I actually had these shown in the live I was in recently with Angie Resells and Bobby the Cap Guy. So if you haven't checked out their channels or their lives, it's pretty fun. It's a good time. You learn a lot. And they do the same thing we do. Find items for resale and sell them online. So I'll drop some screenshots to their channels in case you're not aware of them or have yet to check out their content. But here we go. So the first thing I'll show you is these owls. Really cool. You can see how they have the glass bead eyes. And what they're called is andirons. These were very common and kind of like a trend to have if you had a fireplace. And what they do is they sit inside the cavity of the fireplace and then you set logs on top of them on the back ribs here. And well, for these, when the flames are going, those eyes light up, which is really cool. But they have other just plain cast iron figures. Some are just ornate, some are like characters as far as like wolves or different animals. But those are not something that you want to pass up. If you happen to go to an estate sale or garage sale, well, garage would be outside. You might see these, but an estate sale or someplace that has andirons, I like to think that you'll find them. First of all, look inside the fireplace, especially if it's an older house. And a lot of people just pass them up because they think that they're dirty and rusty and they don't want to have to put them in their car. And some of like people that are maybe elderly, they're kind of heavy, so they don't want to deal with the weight. But it is usually something you can get for like $10 or less. And these will end up selling for me around, I'd say $350 to $400. So that's a pretty good return on investment. And there are others, and I will drop screenshots of everything so you can see what I'm talking about. And another, I ended up finding these not inside a fireplace. I actually was in the garage at an estate sale, and I noticed on the top shelf, like just some cast iron pieces, like these bottom pieces were like poking up, and they were laying on a shelf, kind of hard to see. And sure enough, I wasn't scared. I got up there on a ladder and pulled them down and put them in my pile, and ended up only paying like $5 for these things. And so I'm glad I saw them. So keep andirons, that's what they're called, in your repertoire of cast iron items, because you'll be happy when you do find them and you'll be happy when they sell, because there is a following for them. People want what they used to have. Next thing is these old cast iron fans. This one happens to be an Emerson fan with the brass blades, and I'll kind of zoom in. Let's see if I can show you the tags there so you can maybe get an idea. But it says St. Louis and it says 1901 on the plate, and then this one is a General Electric, but it wasn't even complete. We're looking at just the cast iron like molding that goes around the motor, and then the fluted base, and then I got the cage with the fan back there, and I bought that in this box, and it was just parts, and I paid $10 just for the parts. And sure enough, the comps for these, there's a lot of people that just, they specialize in refurbishing, or maybe they have one and they need the parts or whatever, so they will spend up for them. So sure enough, I'll show you some comps of that fan and what it sells for, both used and just for parts. And then obviously this one, I just measure it. This, I want to say it's a 13-inch fan, but I'll measure it. And this one is in working condition according to the seller. And I've yet to plug it in. I'm a little bit scared, to be honest with you, because I think there's a location on the actual wiring that had a little bit of fraying. So I'll make sure I'm careful with that. But if I can take a picture of the fan blades rotating and get a motion shot basically to post on eBay so they can physically see it working, then it'll go for more money, obviously, because people are concerned about the motor. And then what else I want to talk about? Okay, I got a bunch of cast iron skillets, and there is some big money for cast iron skillets, guys. And a lot of the name brands that you should keep aware of is definitely word association. So remember National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or Wally World or whatever? And the family's name is Griswold. Well, remember Griswold, because there is some heavy hitter bolo skillets made by Griswold. And it looks like on the back, it looks like a cross in the middle of the actual skillet itself. But I'll drop some screenshots so you see what I'm talking about. And then some other name brands that I wanted to mention are, this one is, it's kind of hard because it needs cleaning, but Wagnerware. Some decent comps on Wagnerware. And then this one, there's no name brand on it, but it's called BSR. I'll drop screenshots on it. And then some of them are just unmarked, but people like to have them, not only for decor, but they will season them up and use them for cooking or whatever. And I'm gonna be dropping screenshots of just random cast iron skillets so y'all will educate yourselves on what to look for when you're out there. Because a lot of times people, it's been passed down from family generation to generation, and it finally comes down to you discovering it at a garage sale, and there's whoever's holding it just thinks that that's a rusty old pan. They don't know nothing about brands or anything like that as far as collectability. And you can score something like this for maybe like $5. And then if you get lucky to find a really good one, you could sell it for over $1,000. And that's a pretty good score. And what else did I want to talk about? Oh, I didn't end up finding any cast iron vintage piggy banks, but there are some huge bolo items and scores that are to be made if you can find the vintage cast iron piggy banks. And I'm gonna just drop down like screenshots of the soles that, see if you can see in there, that's what I'm worried about. See that frayed cord? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some electrical tape, the black stuff, and I'll just tape it up before I end up trying to turn it on, because I don't need to get electrocuted or anything, and I don't necessarily trust something that's over 100 years old, and just because I want to see if it works. But yeah, the piggy banks, I'll drop rapid bolos of the screenshots of those so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And that is like the cast iron video that I wanted to put together, because I know there's a lot of resellers watching this that would not be aware of the old-timey fans. And all this is really heavy cast iron. I mean, it's, a lot of people don't like to deal with weight. They say, oh, I don't want to ship weight or heavy items. Well, I like to think that it's worth your time, because I'm going to end up making not just $20. I'm going to be making hundreds of dollars because of this. So I would challenge that it's worth an hour of your time packing it up safely, putting it in a box, and shipping it out, because you'll see that it's not something that just sells for a little bit. And then obviously the skillet pans. I'm not a big fan of the rust, I'll be honest with you, but I'll be happy to list them and make, you know, probably on these, I'll make like 40 or 50 bucks on some of these pans. And then I didn't get lucky on hitting some home runs as far as the older like Griswold with the cross in the middle for the logo. This one right here is a Griswold, but it doesn't have the logo in the center. All it has is the slanted numbers. So just because you don't necessarily see that Griswold logo in the middle, if you see those numbers and they're slanted, you can do a comp search while you're at the sale and just type into eBay, 1031 skillet. And then sure enough, you'll see that it brings up the brand. So some of them are marked, some of them aren't. It's just about finding the right ones. That's about all I got. I already dropped a bunch of screenshots, so y'all already saw a lot of the value here. And if you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps people find this video through the algorithm, and it helps me out a lot to get viewership hours as well. So thanks again for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.